Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 416 of Pixels and Ink, the official podcast of CGMagazine, where we take a critical eye to gaming, comics, tech, and media. I'm your host today, Chris DeHoog, and I'm joined by our editor-in-chief, Brendan Fry,
Hello there, Chris.
and the Dana Eileen, the one and only.
That me. I don't want to be second anymore. I'm cooler than Brendan.
It get switched
Sorry.
around. Take it
No,
from the top.
that's fine. I just want everyone to know that I'm cooler.
No.
That's it.
That's
Admit it.
Well, you're best for last. I don't know.
Smooth. You're smooth, Chris. I like that.
I try. Full recovery.
I like that. I like it.
How are we all doing? How are we all doing tonight?
It is 9:26. It's past my bedtime. And as we went live, I had weird coconut in my mouth. So this drink's not great, guys.
Yeah.
So
I'm good.
It happened again.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen a lot.
Stop drinking that weird coffee that has coconut in it.
But it's good. It's
sounds
just I
good.
don't want to chew my coffee.
Yeah.
It's
Just
like
like-
not my thing to do.
I don't like anything about this.
it's like drink through like really tight lips and just keep the
I think I'm gonna have
detritus
to.
from getting
But
in.
then I can feel them. I feel like it's seaweed.
Just
And
knocking on
Brendan,
the
you
door.
drink those weird dragon fruit drinks that
Yeah,
have
they're
like
great.
hunks of everything in them.
Yeah, I'm good with that. You mean like aloe?
That wasn't what I meant, but those ones are way worse. I was thinking Starbucks.
Oh yeah, those do have things in them. I don't like when they put things in them though.
Okay. Cool.
Oh, the
I'm
refreshers.
finding myself, feeling very small between you two right now. Just down here. Hello.
Sinking
Sorry.
to the floor.
Do you want to actually do like what
Not
just
first.
happened? Well, I don't like that. Now we're like a set of stairs.
Entirely by design. What if I sink down?
Everybody be small. Well, this is going well.
This is going well,
Totally.
and
Natural.
apparently we're reviewing Tim Hortons drinks now, and don't try the coconut.
I mean,
Whatever.
CG Magazine.
Good though. It just
coffee and glugging. I don't know.
Coffee glugging magazine, coffee glutton.
Yeah, there you go.
Coffee.
There you go.
this
Coffee
sounded like I was
gagging
going
in
to a
this
weird
case.
like coffee porn site. Yeah, thanks for just putting that on there, Chris.
But as part of
Call an
the
HR.
Canadian, words have multiple meanings
Mm-mm.
Nope.
Not in this
for
brain.
most people, anyways.
Not in this brain.
No, but as part of the Canadian media, it's probably on us to hold Tim Hortons to task. So I'm glad we did that for once.
By putting weird coconut in the coffee.
It's all right. I don't
What,
hate it. Sorry. I'll stop.
whatever it takes, to warm up in the cold winter seasons, which takes us into our first topic today. Because I'm not sure how it is where you guys are, but around here it is a repeat of that nasty winter storm we had right before Christmas there, and
This one wasn't as bad, but we played hooky today.
Mm-hmm.
My son stayed home for no reason. No reason. He was super pumped for it, and then when he woke up past school starting, he cried, and I was like, "Great,
that's
this
awesome.
is fine." It wasn't fine. It was weird.
Don't immediately
here we are.
regret the decision. It's fine.
Yeah, it's good. It's totally cool.
But
Right.
on that note, we're playing hooky though. Thought we'd talk about some of our comfort games to get us through the winter blues.
Mhm.
The kind
Liver.
of games that you go back to, times like this, or just whenever you need a pick me up or something that's not too new and overstimulating. So, what are your
I
kind
feel
of
like you're gonna
go-to
start
games?
a Christmas song after.
And a one, and a two, and
It just can't be "Baby It's Cold Outside." We're not allowed to sing that
Yeah,
anymore.
that one got weird.
Shut up! I like that
No.
song. I don't even care.
It got weird.
No,
it is
it's
really weird.
perfectly fine.
It's
Everybody
modern
sucks.
context. Talk
Yeah,
about words having more than
everybody
one
sucks.
meaning. There you go.
I'm just gonna keep saying the same thing. Here, why don't I go to my article that I'm working on called "Best Cozy Games to Curl Up with this
There you go.
winter"?
There you go. Look
That
at
should help.
Why
I
don't
wonder
you?
where I got the idea, guys. I'll let you guys go. You guys have any like comfort games or things that you want to play, like binge play and never leave your couch or bed, depending on what you're playing? Brendan wants to wake up, maybe.
No, I'm just so busy playing games. I can't be
Well,
awake.
because there's different kinds of cozy games. There's like game that you literally want to be all like cozy on the couch and happy with, or games that just
Excuse
make
me.
you feel at home, or games that you want to binge real hard. Those are all cozy things to me. And then there's like the cute cozy too, like Cat Cafe Manager,
Yeah.
not Calico. Sorry,
I need to try that one.
Cat Cafe
Um,
Manager. Yes, I don't recommend you go the way of Calico. Do
No, Cat Cafe though. I was thinking of picking up on my Switch actually. So I'm
It's
glad
super cute. I like it.
I thought you'd
I
read that one
actually
next.
think I want to jump back on that soon.
But yeah, mine. I don't really have like a. Mine doesn't fall into the cozy genre category, but one of mine is Terraria on the PC.
Oh, that was a
Um,
good game.
yeah, I picked it up when it like first came out, and I did a
Mhm.
bunch of like saw a bunch of the update waves and all that stuff. And like every time I get like a new computer, it's one of the first things I boot up and just start a new
Mhm.
world or go into an old world where I already had everything
Mhm.
kind of
Oh,
set
cool.
up. So that's the kind of thing I just kind of so I booted up and I'm like, oh, let's play a few minutes of this, and then like 5 hours were
Right.
gone, and it's like, oh, that was a day. Cozy base building slash at times really hectic and crazy when you get into some of the later boss fights, but that's my cozy game there.
Pretty
Just
solid
one.
choice.
You have one cozy game. What
One
about all
cozy
the
game.
different kinds of cozy?
There's so many cozy.
Well, there's cozy
Okay, fine.
nostalgic too.
That's true. Nostalgic cozy. I mean, assuming that your nostalgia is cozy, it could go the other way.
Could
Just
be.
saying. Dun dun. I feel real short today, guys. I don't like this. What about
What
you,
about you?
Brendan? Oh, me?
Yeah, why not
Oh,
go you? 'Cause
Me? Because I have too many. I was hoping you guys would say some of them, so I didn't talk for 45 minutes. Um, so my go-to game right now, which I only play cozy games now because I'm not a real person anymore.
Mhm.
Um, my go-to game right now is Disney Dreamlight Valley,
Hmm.
and it's janky and broken as hell. It kicks me off like 3 times a night at least. There's only slight screaming. I cannot talk while you're doing that constantly, Brendan. I can see his screen right now, and our faces have moved so many times. Um, yeah, it's definitely my go-to. I keep
Mhm.
picking it back up even though it kicks me off and makes me real mad. Um, it's my baby at the moment. Even if I just like sit there and collect stuff for a night
Mhm.
and then realize I've played for 3 nights and made 0 progress. But I've got a good hoard of crap. That's my go-to at the moment. Long term, I think I'd still go back to Stardew Valley.
Hmm.
Um, Cult of the Lamb, I have some, I'm gonna say fond memories with, like it
Mhm.
came out in 1984, but um, that's a game that I want to put more into because it's been one of my faves.
Mhm.
Um, and then yeah, for me, like the binging games would have been like World of Warcraft or Elder Scrolls Online, but I just can't right now because I have humans that I can't neglect. Womp
It's the
womp.
whole thing. Yeah.
There is a new game though. If you like crafting sim type stuff and unique art styles, it's from Whitethorn Games. Yeah, that's right. It's called Witchwood,
Oh
spelled with a
yeah.
Y. It's really cool. I tried a few games from Whitethorn recently. That one was good. I will go back to it.
Mhm.
Couple others I will never look at again. And some that were like, okay, this is fine.
Mhm.
This is
But
fine.
Let's Build a Zoo too. That one's pretty fun.
That was weird.
You can like crossbreed. Like I like any like, tycoon type games.
Mhm.
And Let's Build a Zoo lets you cause chaos, which sounds like I'm excited about, but I can't. I always go the good route. I
Mm.
can't make weird like abominations and I can't incinerate my animals and can't do it. I can be mean to people. Let me mess them up,
That's
but
fair.
not my little critters.
I kind of thought you would choose chaos, but
I know, right? But that's the same like Fable and stuff. I was always good at least the first time around.
No,
And by the end, like I was starting to feel bad when I would do bad things.
I mean, probably supposed to overall in games when you do bad
Like
things. I would say.
Fable was fun when you got really evil though. Like it messed up your appearance.
yeah, people hated you.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, they
Like an
really
old
they really
lady that
doubled
used to give
down on
us
that.
stuff.
Like like around the same time, like KOTOR kind of did that, but like no one quite hit on it the way that the original Fable did.
Yeah,
People were
Fable
like
was just.
spitting on you.
I really loved how Fable managed to capture that weird fantasy vibe in a weird British way that
In a
only
weird
Lionhead
British
could.
way. It's the quote of the day. In a weird British way.
It was definitely in a weird. There was farting. There's a button to fart.
There was, yeah.
That's such a British thing.
I can't say that I didn't love it. It was great.
Yeah, I really love Fable. That is one of the games I actually do like going back to be honest.
I can't picture you playing Fable for the life of me.
Why?
Because you play not games like Fable? I don't know.
No, fair enough.
Does Fable strike you as a Brendan game, Chris?
I can be evil. That's great.
It's hard to say. Fable's
Mhm.
kind of that first one, anyways, has some universal appeal. So
Yeah. I played the
that
second. The third got weird.
They
yeah,
all got weird.
there's
They were
diminishing
weird.
returns for sure.
I
Yeah.
liked them all. I don't even care. I don't even remember the difference between them. I'm just like, nope, it was fine. It was great.
Yeah.
Shut up.
That's fair.
And the next one's gonna be a shit show, though.
If it ever
Nothing
comes out.
good is happening.
I was gonna say, do we know
Nothing.
anything about that?
Yeah.
Anything
That's
concrete? I don't think so. But
now. The last I've heard, there's firing people, rehiring people because people having trouble with the engine that they're forced to use. So that sounds great.
yeah, it's great business.
Very concerned. Didn't someone just leave Dragon Age too?
Yeah,
Yes.
one of the narrative directors or something.
Can't remember his name right now, but yeah. Yeah, well, that could hopefully that one's far enough into development that it won't be that big of an impact, but
Mm.
that's a side story.
Who can say?
Oh, is it? I don't know what we're talking about now.
It's just that's sad that people leave the game.
Oh, okay. I thought there was like a really sad reason he left the game.
No, I
Like,
don't think
awkward taco.
No, just time, I guess. Yeah.
Yes, you've spent way too much time with me. He just awkward tacoed.
I did.
You can also awkward alpaca if you'd like. I learned that from a hostess at Swiss Chalet
Okay.
when I worked there for many, many moons. That's what she used to do. all
Just
the
go
time.
with it, Chris. Just run with
That
it.
was hilarious.
It's fine.
That's it. He's getting weird memes now. It's happening.
Okay.
Anywho,
This
you
is
can
the thing
continue
now.
the talk. Well,
Own it. Just live it. Live that world.
Well, another to go to like the nostalgia side of like cozy games. I think one of mine is also Dr. Mario.
I never got into the Dr. Mario series, to be honest.
never
That was
played
one of the
it.
ones we had on NES, and there was a time
Mm.
when my mom actually played it, and like, so I have memories of her sitting in the. she had multiple sclerosis, and I remember her sitting in the living room, just playing the game sometimes, and
That's
so
cool.
sometimes I still throw it on. I kind of have those throwback vibes there, but it's just like one of those
Figure
games
that.
that's just kind of cool to once you get into the zone, like things like that in Tetris, like you just kind of log into it, and you're like you can be focused on something else entirely and
Hmm.
playing the game.
Right.
Like you kind of separate your brain, or maybe that's just me, but
Mhm.
I
yeah,
like it.
that was one of my like university, like I'm exhausted from studying or writing essays. I'm just gonna zone out on this for a while, and yeah.
Mine was Command and Conqueror Generals or the original Unreal Tournament.
You're so old. I have no idea what either of those are.
You don't?
No, not at all. With system? What are we talking about?
They were PC.
Oh, fuck.
I mean, I think Unreal Tournament came to other things eventually, but I played it on the PC.
I played
Yeah.
WoW on like a laptop, and that was like 6 years ago.
Okay.
So PC before that, no bueno.
Fair
No.
point.
Yeah, I only experienced Unreal and Command and Conquer for that matter on consoles. So, but we had
There you
cracked PCs. So,
The more
That's
you
fair.
know.
any other
That's true,
childhood
actually.
or nostalgia based ones?
I mean, I also
Child?
loved. Well, I really have gotten fan of the 2 Point series, but I also loved like Theme Park and all those games back in the day as well.
Yeah, I
Roller
used to do
Coaster
like
Tycoon.
Sims and stuff growing up. Something that makes me happy. Don't tell EA. I had like Sims and a bunch of the expansions long before I worked in games.
Mhm.
And my niece now, she's old enough that she wanted to play them. So I just gave her my EA account.
That's fair.
Like, here you go, have a name and password. This is you now. It's okay. She looks like I did when I used to play them, so it's fine.
Yeah.
He'll never know. But yeah, so she's like taken over my account and she's playing all that stuff now, so that's kind of cool.
I think The Sims is now free to play.
Okay. Well,
Not all the
you have to buy the
expansions,
expansions and stuff.
You have to
so-
buy the expansion, but the base game's free.
Yeah.
Oh, there
which
you go.
is cool move on their
But
part.
yeah, she does that. That's what I used to do. I used to love like the coaster tycoon
Mhm.
games and all that kind of stuff. Childhood. I didn't. Most of my gaming memories are watching other people play because I was the youngest. So like my dad playing, I think it was Super Mario Golf or whatever it was called.
Right.
Mario Golf.
Mhm.
NES maybe? I don't know. That I'd wake up in the morning and he'd have like a chair 6 feet away from the TV, sitting with a controller, be playing golf. Like, okay, don't think my dad ever touched golf for real in his life, but
Well, if it works.
yeah, I'd wake up
I-
for school and he'd be doing that. And then like N64. My brother had all that stuff before me. And when I was learning how to play, so we're 7 years apart, he and I. So I wouldn't know how to do anything. So Ocarina of Time is probably the first game that I remember actually playing,
Mhm.
playing. And I this was way back in the day before the interwebs, and I wouldn't know how to do anything. And I still like I can't play Zelda without looking up how to beat everything, just for the record. And so I'd go in and be like, "How do I get past this part? How do I get this past this part?"
Mhm.
If you can't figure it out, then you can't play it. He was a dick. He's still kind of a dick, but he's like the best. Um, yeah, so that was trauma. And then the you can come and watch us play, but if you make even a sound, you're out. And they would play Pikmin, and I thought it was the cutest thing in the world.
Pikmin are cute.
I
Like
thought they were
adorable.
adorable.
That's a very
And
defensive stance to take with Pikmin, though. Like,
just no sense. I wasn't like if I chortled, I'd be out. That's to be fair. Like I wouldn't want my 7-year younger sibling hanging out with me, especially if I'm a teenager. But that's how that went. And
I'm the youngest too,
GoldenEye.
so I can't speak
Yeah,
to that
see.
perspective.
The other one is GoldenEye. That's that was like the only game he actually played with me and
Mm.
didn't like torture me. But he would be odd job, so I could never shoot him.
Odd job. That game was so unbalanced.
Yeah, it was. He'd do it to me all the time. For a while, he would be Boris, I believe his name was. And the only reason I remember that is because he used to say it in this really awful, like, probably offensive now accent. And he would chase me around, being like, I'm not going to do the accent, being like, I'm Boris. And he'd just come after me.
That
So,
sounds
yeah.
like a thing.
Yeah, it was fun. Those are like my I grew up memories. And then Fable is the first game that took over my life, and I skipped Christmas, like I keep telling everybody.
Mhm.
Crystal
It's funny.
Xbox.
Like
Thanks, Joe.
I was talking. Well, my daughter and I were watching or playing Kirby or something the other day. Kirby's Dream Buffet, as we do every day. It's like a ritual.
Every day.
Every day before school.
Every day.
But so we're playing like a round of Kirby's Dream Buffet, and she asked like, yeah, but like play games when I was a kid and stuff like that. I explained how Mario Brothers used to work. We're like, yeah,
Mhm.
Mario would play until he died, and then the second player had to play as Luigi. Where it's like it's changed so fundamentally, and I didn't really realize it was happening. Like as much as I've been celebrating like the co-op play for kids with like Kirby and the Forgotten Land and other games
Mhm.
like that. Like, yeah, no, but you don't really have that experience anymore, and it's always like synchronous play now. So
I mean, there
Mhm.
definitely is asynchronous play. Certain games do that. It's just a little less common.
yeah,
It's hard to
definitely, yeah.
find. Brendan, we tried to find a PlayStation game to play. I am not a PlayStation person to play together the other night to
Yeah.
test some stuff out. And like, we're like, I don't know, what can we play? Like, I could go on like a different system and play with you. I know how to do that in a lot of games.
Yeah, it does. They do make it harder to play on one console for
Yeah.
sure.
I know. Again, this doesn't help us in the PlayStation case, but oh God, what's it called? Escape Academy.
Yeah.
That was a fun game to play side by side. I enjoyed that. I played it with a stranger. That was awkward. Nice bonding experience,
I
him
mean,
and
that's
I.
how you play with random strangers.
I did. It was at Summer Game Fest.
Oh yeah.
So they
Yeah.
put me next to a guy who looked like he hated everyone. I'm like, this is good. I'm bubbly and annoying, and you look like you're gonna kill me. Great. And it actually ended up being okay. We had to like work together and
Mhm.
stuff. And I'm like, are you nice? I have questions.
It's like,
Oh
bro, are
God,
you
what's
cool?
happening?
Are you cool?
Yeah, then he like pulled out a piece of paper and it was like, he's in it. Let's go. We sucked really bad. We sucked real bad. That game's a lot of fun, but no like replay value. Like now I know what I need to do.
Yeah.
Side note,
Yeah.
GoldenEye is currently trending because it's coming
Switch
coming
and
to
everything
Switch
else.
and Xbox
Yep.
Game Pass.
Probably within the next hours, if not already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be out tomorrow.
Screw
So,
PlayStation. Sorry. Just that seems to be the
bruh, come on.
just saying.
Well, that actually leads us into our next topic, their natural segue. Speaking of the Xbox, we had a Xbox Developer Direct feed this week with some
Right.
We
updates
did.
on the meager exclusives for Xbox.
Yeah, it's not looking amazing. I only say that because Microsoft owns like 40 studios, and their lineup of games is middling.
Um, yeah. I mean, it's a bad sign when you're going into a direct and they have to put out a, "Hey, don't get your hopes up. Like,
Yeah,
curb your expectations." I'm like, "Oh, okay, cool."
yeah.
I mean, they still talked about some pretty big things, but, like, we're talking exclusives and things like that. Like,
Mm.
Elder Scrolls Online isn't ex it's not Xbox
It's
exclusive,
not
though.
an Xbox. It's going to be very weird if they tried making it an Xbox
I
exclusive.
I just went to redeem when High Isle came out.
Mhm,
I got a code for review, but so did somebody else, and somebody else reviewed it.
mhm.
So I got the Xbox code, but I never redeemed it. And I went to last night. I was super pumped about it. I was like, "Yeah, I'm doing it. I'm getting back in." And sure enough, the Xbox code was a PC code.
Oh, that's annoying.
So I mean, I can like I have a PC account too, and I have some decent characters over there, but I want to.
But the couch.
Yeah. Although I have a toy for that now, so maybe,
You do.
maybe. Um, yeah,
Steam
so that,
Deck?
like, crushed my dream last night. No games, we're working. I was a sad panda. But, yeah, the ESO announcement got me. I was like, "That's it. I'm doing it. I'm going back." And then I didn't, so I probably lost that gumption.
It's time, but not.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they showed off, well, they announced Necrom, the new expansion for ESO,
Yeah.
which launches in June 20th.
So, I
Uh,
have to catch up.
we'll be talking more about that in the months to come.
Mm-hmm.
But the one of the biggest things probably from this was another look. My God, at
Welcome.
Redfall. Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
I think
Stutter.
I'm excited about Redfall.
I think it looks good, but I like what Arcane does. It's an Arcane one, right?
Yeah,
Thank
Arcane
you.
Austin.
Yeah. Arcane joints are great.
I don't even know. Like, I remember the first time I saw it, I was like, "Yeah, I want to play that." And then I realized the kind of game it was, and I was like, "I probably don't want to play that." And then I was like, "Ah, maybe I do. Maybe I do."
Yeah.
Why is
Maybe
Kevin
worth a
Sorbo
shot.
trending? Kevin Sorbo's trending.
It
Interesting.
looks interesting. I'm excited to see what they do with it and how it plays. It looks a little bit. You know the problem we had with the latest Saints Row. Redfall kind of has similar things where they're all like modern young adults that speak modern young adult language.
Oh, are you gonna be confused, old man?
Do it for the
Is that what
vine.
is that where we're going with this though? Are we those people now?
No, I have no problem with you using the kids' lingo.
Oh God, what did my niece say the other day? She's a preteen now and she used a word. It's
No
like,
cap for
absolutely
real,
not.
for real.
Oh God. I was
No,
like,
it's
absolutely
not
not.
that. It's when adults write young adults.
Oh, we just had that problem with that 90s show.
Yeah, yeah.
We watched that 90s show.
Oh,
It was
we finished that too.
And
I actually liked it, but
Yeah.
it like the first couple episodes especially, like people trying to write the teenagers, but people have always been writing teenagers. So I don't know why now that I'm old it seems wrong and like broken.
because we were kids in the '90s and we know what kids in the '90s actually sounded like. This
Oh,
is
maybe
not
that's
that.
it. Yeah.
Good to be part of it, yeah. Plus, yeah, the writing isn't as strong because like there's a part where they actually show a scene from the '70s show in the '90s
Yeah.
show, and
Yeah.
it's like, oh yeah, this actually had more punch than the new series does. But
Yeah.
It's a little watered down a bit.
yeah, not sure what happened over the last 20 years, but
Well, we can't let's just be clear here. One of the cast members from that show is I don't think he's in prison, but he should be. And
100%.
shockingly, Wilbur Felder, I can't say his name right now. That guy, like definitely grooms children. So there's
Does
like
he?
an entire song about it.
Yeah.
Thank you,
God.
Demi Lovato.
I knew about the Masterson thing, but not about Filterama.
Yeah, no, he has a history of being like when he was in his late 20s, he dated Demi Lovato, who was 17. Then significantly later, he dated like a 17-year-old again. So
Baby, don't do that.
Yeah, bad luck, especially considering how much he was in this show. Actually, he's probably the most
I mean, he wasn't
prominent.
that much.
yeah, the prominent past cast
Yeah, like
member.
Yeah, like of the returning ones, aside from Kitty and Red, obviously, who are like regulars on
Yeah.
the show.
Who, by the way, make me very happy. Kitty is exactly the same. This is totally off topic. Yeah, no, Demi Lovato has a song called 1729. Go listen to that when you have time.
Sounds
then-
horrible.
Yeah. Anyway.
Not the song, but circumstances.
I was surprised that he was back.
So Redfall.
Yeah, Redfall.
Well, sorry,
As I
guys.
said, I think it looks really cool, but it does have that kind of the old writing the youths
Writing
vibe.
Jesus.
Um, similar to the way that new Saints Row did it, where they had like these kids they're just up and happening. I sound like 1,000 years old. It's
Yeah,
fine
you
though.
gotta stop though. Like, you still look young, so stop telling people how old you are,
Yeah.
okay?
But yeah, that's my only concern. It is kind of like being overly snappy and quippy that no one in real life actually is.
Um, Here's my question, and this is gonna sound real dumb considering I'm talking about playing this game. I can't pinpoint what kind of game this is,
I think a shooter.
but it's
Yeah.
co-op, right?
I think it's kind of like a story based, like Left 4 Dead type thing.
That didn't answer my question. I don't play
Shooter,
Left 4 Dead.
co-op shooter.
Okay, so it is co-op, but can you do it alone? Like, is there like a solo campaign? Do I have to have
You know,
friends? Because I don't.
it is
I don't
story
have any of
based.
those.
It is mission based, so I think it. I don't. I'm assuming yes.
See, nobody has answers for me.
Well,
Like, because right
maybe
now I'm watching some
almost
gameplay
certainly
here.
yes.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna
I
kill my
think it
laptop.
could play it alone, but maybe they play as like bots, or something if they aren't controlled by you.
Yeah, maybe I'll like Dragon Age.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have no idea. It's confusing me. But like when it first came out, I thought it was like a solo thing, and I was like, "Yep, I'll do that. It'll be great." It was giving me like, spooky Mass Effect vibes. I'm like, I can do that.
Yeah.
And then there were like you had to have friends, and I was like, you lost me.
Yeah.
I
No,
don't
but
like other
there
people.
is solo play in mind. Like they
Yeah.
All right, all right.
Yeah.
It's
Then,
funny
then
quote
maybe I'll give
from
it a go.
Bethesda saying it's huge emphasis has been the solo experience in keeping with Arcane's passions.
Okay.
So
Cool. That makes me happy because that's it's not often I get excited about new games. So
Yeah.
well, they're
uh,
definitely going to play at the multiplayer aspect, right? Like they want to
mhm.
play it how you and your buddies can all hop on Game Pass and just play it
Have
day
any?
one.
Stop it. Stop
Hypothetically, as speaking as someone who doesn't either, like
it.
I
Chris,
play
we're each
Destiny
other's
2
friends.
solo. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's been
Yeah.
my
That
life
seems
for
like
years.
you're not getting the most of that game.
Yeah, no, like I need to
Well, that's
like
why I
find
stopped
people to do a mission
ESO.
with me because I can't do it by myself. Literally, it's
Yep.
so annoying.
That's why I stopped playing ESO because there's like tons of dungeons and stuff, and I'm like, okay, like, I can do just the story, but then there comes a point where, ow, you know?
Yeah, I mean, like Destiny 2 is good about it for most things. Like they'll match make you with people for most things, but like the
Yeah.
high end dungeons and raids and stuff like that, you have to have a team. There's even just like
Mhm.
a regular ish story mission that like I'm hung up on because I can't like I need to like rally people to help me with it. Like
Yeah.
I could probably clear my like I'm strong enough to beat it myself, but you need to have people in two spots simultaneously to like get through the puzzles and stuff. And it's like
Yeah.
so
Well, and for me, I want to be able to say like, well, I don't need like top tier. I'm just playing the game to enjoy the game, da da da.
right.
But like that sucks.
Yeah.
That's part of that stuff I was writing about MMOs and whatnot. Like, it sucks that I have to make friends if I want to
I don't
explore
wanna.
like the best of the game.
Yeah.
I can't. Even if like you raid once a week with people or you dungeon once a week with people, you still need the gear to be able to do that. So like I can't just go gear myself up alone. Makes
Yeah.
my heart
Yeah.
sad.
Like sometimes you just want to play your game. Like you don't have to be reliant on other people, and like scheduling
Well,
is like a nightmare.
I don't want to schedule it. I don't want to have to wear a headset. I don't want to have to, like I just don't. I talk to you people all day. All day. You're great. But like,
Well, we'll have to organize like streams and stuff then. We can get
right?
game streams going
I
again.
know, right?
One thing that wasn't shown at the Xbox Developer Direct was Starfall, which at the Bethesda joint.
I'm honestly surprised they didn't show more of that. I'm assuming they're going to do a kind of a directly. Wow, they're going to do some kind of direct stream for that game alone because it's such a big thing.
Yeah, because they said it's launching after Redfall, so sometime after May 2nd when Redfall launches, assumedly November, because let's be honest, they probably need the time to finish it, knowing how Bethesda games launch. But yeah, it's kind of like it's reaching to the point where it's almost like, what are you doing with this game? Like you haven't shown us much about it. It was supposed to be out in November. We still haven't really seen a full
Coming out
blowout
next
on it.
November now, right now, I believe.
What is
Yeah,
that?
well, sometime after Redfall.
Mm.
Starfield. I want to say Starfall.
Starfield.
Redfall and
Wow.
Starfield.
Just making up games now.
Yeah.
Starfall.
Beatport.
All right. Beatport.
Um,
Beatport.
Yeah, that was odd. I did like the new game from Tokyo. What is it? Tokyo GameWorks. Is that
We're
right?
talking about
Yes.
Hi-Fi Rush that's
Yep.
already out that like is blowing up my Twitter right now. People
It
are already calling it like their top 5 of the year.
it looks really cool.
It looks awful to me. I mean, it doesn't look awful. It looks great, but it doesn't look like a game I would like to
Doesn't
play.
look like your
So
thing,
just
yeah.
no. So just all of a sudden my entire Twitter is like, this is the best game of the year. I'm like, wow, I am out
I
of
just
touch.
for critics like us, it's annoying because they released a game that we want to cover, but it's already out, so it's hard to cover it.
Well, we are, so
Yeah,
that's happening.
it's
I
just
guess I'll try it. It's on Game Pass.
yeah.
Like they sent us like immediately after that stream, they sent us the code.
Oh, do they?
Yep.
Okay.
It's tune in later to cgmagonline.com for a review.
Cool.
Uh, yeah, like it's all of our like Canadian journalist friends are going crazy over it. There's one. Hi-Fi Rush is my game of the year, calling it right now. That's not even one of my friends. That's just
I mean, I
That's
really I like what that studio does. Like the Evil Within games are great. This is a very different direction than that, so
yeah.
that's kind of cool. And I just like the fact that doing different things. And I always like seeing studios going in different directions, not just staying. We're just this horror studio that does these 4 different things.
Yeah, I don't want the same game just reskinned
Yeah,
over and over. If I want that, I'll just play Minecraft and put
like
like
Layers of Fear, all
sure.
those Layers of Fear games.
Those games. I don't.
Yeah, the looks of this one like really brings back that Dreamcast era vibe, like the
It does.
Jet Set Radio games
I was
and all
just gonna
that.
say that very much Jet Set Radio or like Crazy Taxi, that or that game from Insomniac that was an Xbox launch game.
I got nothing.
Insomniac, huh? I don't remember that one.
Um,
It's a
well,
good story.
I don't remember.
There will be googling to be had. Yeah, I
But yeah,
don't know.
there's also the other game coming out. I believe it's supposed to be out this year. Bomb Rush Cyberpunk that like really nails
Oh
that
yeah,
vibe too. Like
Sunset
this could
Overdrive.
be a good year for Dreamcast
Sunset,
fans.
Yeah.
Sunset Overdrive. I remember that one.
Anything else really exciting? The other one was the Forza that existed.
Yeah, I don't care about Forza.
I mean,
It's a car
I
game.
really do think Forza does really good things with the driving sim genre. They're really at the forefront. Turn 10 does great stuff. It's just it's releasing sometime later this year, and it's more of the same. So it's not really a new thing from Xbox. It's more of just the same thing we've kind of grown to expect from Xbox. And I was hoping for something a little bit different, but I guess that they kind of set expectations early on.
Now we'll keep in mind, like I'm the Xbox girl at heart, right? Like
Yeah,
out of the three of us here,
you
probably me
definitely
more
are.
than anyone. Um,
Definitely.
but these aren't particularly thrilling games to me.
No.
And I don't know if I'm necessarily like I guess I'm saying I'm an Xbox girl at heart, but
Yeah.
at the same time I don't it's not necessarily I'm an Xbox exclusive girl. Like I think Game Pass is crushing it with like day one games
Yeah.
left and right. That Hi-Fi Rush game was on Game Pass within an
Uh,
hour or two of the announcement. So I love that. And that's really good for someone like me too, who's not sure what games I'm going to
yeah.
get into, who's not sure what kind of time I have or whatever. It's nice to just be able to throw on Game Pass and see what's up.
Yeah.
Like you were playing a game that I can't mention last night. And I was like, well, I wonder if there's other versions of that. I was going through Game Pass. I wanted Graveyard Keeper last night.
Yeah.
It's not on Game Pass. It used to be. It's
Okay.
not anymore. But so I love what Xbox is doing with Game Pass. But I'm finding in terms of exclusives, it's not doing anything.
I mean, I think they have a lot in the pipe. It's just,
Do they?
I mean, they say they do. I don't know.
Yeah, because I mean, even the other big one was Minecraft Legends,
Mhm.
which looks cool. My son was watching it with me, and then they started talking, and he got bored and walked away. But that looks like a lot of fun. It's a different take with the same kind of game, and like they have I think it's a 4v4,
Mhm.
and you have to like destroy each other's bases, which is like the point of Minecraft is building and breaking
Yeah.
shit,
Yeah.
right? So I think that'll be a lot of fun. And I think even with like a group of adults, have a couple drinks and play that game, it'll be a damn good time.
Mm.
That's a smart
So
extension of the IP. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that'll be a lot of fun. But that's not Xbox.
Yeah.
I would assume if Minecraft is on every system on the planet, so will this.
Well, it's
So,
listed for Nintendo Switch eventually. I'm not sure about PlayStation, actually. They might be holding it back from PlayStation because, I mean,
but eventually it will. And like, I
it
can't make
has to.
sense
It
of a
should.
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
can't make sense of a direct that isn't.
Exclusive.
Yeah, like we're just announcing other people's games.
I
We
mean,
had this discussion about E3
yeah.
yesterday, Brendan. We were talking about how like big companies like Microsoft and whatever have pulled out of E3 and they do like their own thing.
Mm.
But their games are still there. It's just not their exclusives. It's
Yeah.
like but that's all they've got right now. So I don't need Microsoft to be at E3 because I'll still see everything they have. Well, maybe we don't know who's going to be there, but you know what I mean?
I
It's
do.
bumming me out.
Yeah.
I'm still going
Yeah.
to play
Like,
everything on Xbox though. So
it's been a
I'm
real
not a
drought for
shady person.
exclusives for a long time for Xbox. Like, there's just
Hmm.
something that you can't really get elsewhere, right? Like, even PlayStation Plus with the new tiers, like the extra tier is a pretty strong competitor for the Game Pass. You don't have the day one stuff, but that's
Okay,
not, you know.
isn't Sony specifically keeping things off Game Pass day one to make it so there's still those sales of early on? Because right now, if you're on Game Pass, you don't see.
Do you mean the PlayStation Plus?
Yep, I mean
Okay.
PlayStation Plus. Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
like it's day one is not a thing on
yeah.
PlayStation Plus, and honestly, like I'm big PlayStation fan. I don't mind that at all. Like I don't need it to be on their day one.
The only
Like
problem I have with not having the day one things like that, is game prices keep rising.
Mm.
And to have like Microsoft saying, "Oh, game prices have to go up. These games have to cost like $90 Canadian now," but it'll be day one on Game Pass. I'm like, I don't like anything going on here. You're forcing people to. There's no economic way for someone to buy like 3 to 4 games every 6 months and not just subscribe to Game Pass because the value proposition is just not there anymore. Game
Um,
Pass is $20. It would cost you a year's worth of Game Pass is one game,
See,
one
but
digital
then you
game.
come into yes, I like Game Pass because I can hop in and out of
Yeah,
games as I please and figure out what I like and what I don't like. But they take those games away eventually.
they do.
So that can be a problem, especially because a lot of the games I play, if not all of them, are like long tail games.
Yeah,
I don't play like I played the Gunk. I think that's one game that had like a story and finished and then I was done.
but
That's probably the only game I've ever played like
but
that.
game prices do come down. So buying a game day one, you're looking at $90. Buying a game 3 months down the line, you're looking at $20.
Yeah.
The value proposition is so much different after that initial like month of sales.
I mean, look at what happened with Cyberpunk.
Yeah, you buy that game for like $10
There
for
was
a
a
while.
couple games lately, Chris, that you were saying, yeah, that was like this price and I was going to grab it. Like, yeah. And if I'm not mistaken, your saves and stuff will carry over.
Yeah, they
Like
will. They'll
if you
yeah,
play
they
it on
stay
Game
on there.
Pass and then
save.
buy the
Yeah,
game. Yeah. So, I mean, that's kind of the perfect way for me, just because I also don't have like Chris, I know you have a bunch of franchises that you are, yep, this is good, this is mine, I like it. I don't. I mean, I do, but those games are never coming back out apparently. Like I've
Apparently,
got
yeah.
Mass Effect and Fallout and Elder
Well,
Scrolls
yeah.
Mass Effect
and
is
Fable.
coming technically
Someday.
someday, someday maybe.
But
No, like that's my
I
thing with
was
the day
hearing
one
about
thing is. Oh,
yeah.
sorry, go on.
No, I was just gonna say, yeah, like those are games that were announced
Yeah.
years before I started here, and now I'm still like I didn't get any Dragon Age while I was at the Game Awards. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, that's good.
Absolutely not.
You got some Halsey.
I did get some healthy. That was
There is that.
nice.
Yeah, but
I love those.
that's my thing with the day one Game Pass thing is like Microsoft as a whole is trying to kill physical media, and it's having the option is great to go physical or to go digital, but you know, I think there's more people invested in physical than Microsoft thinks, and
And
they're
Microsoft,
getting to a point where like you're like where you're not gonna be able to get Xbox games brand new anymore, like unless you
Mm.
pre-order them through physical retailers.
I
Like
mean, I
like
think
Microsoft
the
has said
thing
they're
with
cutting it off. So
Yeah.
for Microsoft, it is the fact they are a cloud infrastructure company as well as software and hardware company. So it makes a lot of sense for them to be like, you know what you need? More using more of the cloud infrastructure. Yay.
yeah,
Um, I I think that's where you and I differ, Chris. You like your physical media. As a woman who lives in a two-bedroom apartment with two children and a partner and gets really anxious when there's too much crap around. Like we have like 9 shelves of DVDs and Blu-rays. I don't know why. I haven't seen one touch them in the 6 years I've lived in this apartment. Uh, so I mean, I'm good, but I do have this like overwhelming fear that somehow everything that I own is going to get lost when it's digital.
Yeah.
I know Nintendo Switch doesn't make it super easy, like swapping between systems and things
Mm.
like that. With Animal Crossing, especially, there's like an app involved. It's a whole thing. Um, I've actually set up, like I have my Switch at home, but we have a Switch here at the
Mhm.
office as well that I've got my account set up on, and there's a few games that I've been able to download seamlessly, and that's cool. But yeah, no, my big fear is just losing everything.
I mean,
That's the thing, right?
Look at the Stadia collapse and how the fact you bought those games and still don't when this service ends, you've got nothing. And that's kind of a fear of a lot of people that even if you've bought the game or you've like put a lot of effort into these games, if Xbox Game Pass goes away, that's all gone.
Yeah. Yeah, like it's tough, right? Like I totally see the thing about digital and not having a lot of space.
Yeah.
I'm a hoarder when it comes to games. Like I've got everything in like Rubbermaid boxes and stuff like that. Ever since I traded away my NES and my Game Boy when I got a PlayStation to buy
Right.
Metal Gear Solid, and instantly regretted it when I couldn't go back
You
to
have
those things anymore.
trauma. You're a trauma
I learned a
hoarder.
lesson. Yeah.
You have trauma
I-
hoarding.
no, I got
Yeah,
pissed
I
off I
get
couldn't
it.
play those games anymore, and I got ripped off in the process of it. But yeah, and just like
Yeah.
even like when you do buy a game on Xbox or you do buy a digital game on any platform for that matter, and you don't like it, you're kind of sunk with it too, right? Like you don't have the options of going
That's
like,
true.
oh, I want to trade this in or return it or whatever, or give it to a friend
Yeah.
or sell it in the marketplace or anything like that. You're stuck with that decision.
And I don't
And
like the sorry, go ahead.
no, I was just gonna add on to that. I can't help but feel like it's overall harmful to the developers and stuff to not have game sales day one, right? Like,
Yeah.
sure, that's great for
That
the way Xbox is developing their own infrastructure, but I
but I
can't help but
think
feel
long
like,
term
yeah,
it might be able to give them more game sales because I don't know, name a game you're excited for. Go.
well, Final Fantasy 16,
Sure, Final Fantasy 16. How
bad
many times
example.
have
That's a
you told
PS5
me that
exclusive.
yeah, let's do it. That's fine. We'll go with that. But how many times have you been like, "Hey, you guys should look at this game. Hey, you guys should look at this game."
Mhm.
But I'm not going to go spend whatever amount of money to look at the game that Chris thinks I should look at, especially if I'm not into it.
Right.
So, yes, you're going to lose day one sales, but you might gain people down the line. Like this might help them long term instead of just the hardcore fans picking up this game. You might have people in a month, 2 months that are like, "Oh, I really got into this. I'm going to grab the full copy and I'm going to keep it."
Right.
That's an option, and not just the people that are waiting 3 years and spending $8 on it. I think it might like, there's games that I found that I thought were new on Game Pass. I cannot think of an example right now because 'cause I'm useless,
Right.
and I've been like, "Oh, this is really cool." I'm like, "Oh, this came out, like, a while ago. I am late." So it just, like, refreshes. You've always got this it's like a little blockbuster.
Yeah, yeah, and again, I still wish rental places were a thing, so I appreciate that in that regard as
Me
well.
too for this exact reason.
We
Like
still have a jump of
that's
video
what I
here.
used to
It's
do.
fantastic.
That's amazing. Does it still have the
Oh.
popcorn that smells kind of gross after like a
Still
day?
at the popcorn. Popcorn's back after COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our Jumbo Video is a
They
bike
sell
store
bags of
now.
it.
It's a
Oh,
bike store now.
that's a sad story.
Or
It is.
amazing.
It looks the same, like it's the same shape and everything.
That's real weird.
Mhm.
Yeah, you don't know where it is.
No, but it still makes me sad.
Mm.
um.
um,
Oh yeah, I was gonna say, or the other extension of that is like I was trying to talk to a friend into Final Fantasy as well, and she was playing 15 on it, or one of the other
Right.
ones. I forget which one she was playing, but anyways, they got taken off the system, so or off Game Pass. So she's like, "Well, guess I'm done with that." I'm like, "Well, you could buy it." No, I'll wait for it to come back on Game Pass. Like you
Yeah.
gain people, but you also, how I'd be curious
yeah,
to
and
see
then
the
you're
actual
also not.
turnover too.
I mean,
But I'm curious what kind of money they get for being on Game Pass. Like, how does
I've
That's
heard it's
something I've never
not
understood.
amazing.
it's better than none
It
though.
can't be,
The thing
right?
is,
Yeah.
it's consistent. Like every single month, they get like a paycheck rather than just front loaded. But those deals are struck before the game launches, so it's like similar to Spotify. Different artists get a different amount of money per like
Mm.
listen. and those deals are struck. Like Taylor Swift makes more per listen than I don't know.
Yeah, Spotify, the other
The
bastion of
truth.
great payout rates.
Yeah,
I just again would like to point out that Brendan spends way too much time with me because he came up with Taylor Swift and the Trues. I was waiting for Ed Sheeran to come out of your mouth,
I
but
figured he earned the same as
he
Taylor
probably
Swift, yeah.
would. But I just like that, like my music.
Yeah.
Do you listen to music that isn't mine anymore?
All the bands I listen to are metal and such, so they don't. None of them get.
No,
paid.
none of them get
Yeah.
money.
They
That's
don't.
fine.
They don't get. Yeah, they got like cents on the
They
stream.
don't get that T Swift money.
Yeah. There.
Yeah.
Anyway,
And then
Xbox.
one last note on
Nice
the
game.
exclusives too is like they kind of burned people's faith with Halo Infinite too. Like that still doesn't have the
Yeah.
co-op campaign, and the co-op campaign was so critical to what Halo was before.
And they just killed
So
it.
like even the exclusives they have had are not necessarily pulling exclusive weight.
Like I'm trying to
So
think right now. Again, like I should not be our Xbox girl, I guess. Like I genuinely can't think of like Xbox exclusives in the last couple years.
is that an Xbox girl problem or is that just an Xbox problem? Because like there
Well,
really
that's I
hasn't
mean, I
been
feel like I
anything,
should be
right?
able to name them and I can't.
Yeah.
But we know what I'm like with names and stuff. Yeah. Yeah, Halo, I've never
I mean, that report from the person that left 343 Industries that are basically saying Microsoft has no idea what to do with these studios.
yeah, I'm looking up like Xbox exclusives and
The list is not.
wasn't Fable one of them? Way back? No.
I mean, like even looking at the lineup for this direct, they have like 5 games, and now they're not all exclusive, and that was their entire direct.
Yeah.
Whereas
The Gunk was
Sony and
exclusive?
Nintendo can
It might have been,
throw
yeah.
together a
No, this
40-minute
isn't
reel.
right. I found a list, but it immediately is not right.
Oh.
Lake? Tunic? No, these are not exclusive games.
Tunic
These
is
are
not
lies.
exclusive, no.
These
I
are
think
lies.
It was exclusive when it first was announced.
Well, give me an article from the last 30 years, please.
Yeah.
That's the other thing too, is that they got a lot of like exclusives that are coming later, like Tunic and things like that.
Yeah.
Like it's
Immortality.
exclusive for 2 months, and then it's gonna be in everything else. Like Switch, where
Yeah,
Tunic
exactly.
belonged because that was made for Switch, even if it wasn't
Pentiment,
directly made for
Flight
it.
Simulator. Halo. Yeah, no. Sunset
I mean,
Overdrive.
Pentiment was good.
What was?
Pentiment was good.
Yeah. Forza, Halo.
That was exclusive? I thought that was on
Forza.
PC.
It was exclusive. That was done by Obsidian. And
Okay, we
Obsidian-
don't count PC anymore because Xbox and PC are in
Yeah,
cahoots.
exactly.
So,
Cahoots.
like when we were trying to do our best of list, I'm like, but this one's also here. We're like, we
Flight Sim
can't.
would also be exclusive.
Grounded.
Yeah.
Psychonauts. See, okay, so those are big games. They're just not my games.
Yeah.
PC
So
is really
I-
sneaking up as like the like like the literally becoming the master race with access to stuff, like with the Steam Deck now, especially.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
I think PC
It's,
really is because everything's built on the PC, then kind of put it out from there. Because basically, Xbox and PlayStation are both PCs in different boxes, so you can make it for a high-end PC. You can make it for those systems as well.
Yeah. I don't know. I know, like as the Xbox person, I can tell you more PlayStation exclusives. And I don't know if that's maybe because my staff plays PlayStation more. That could be part of the problem. But they're bigger games.
Yeah.
They're bigger franchises, they're bigger titles, they're bigger buzz.
I think Microsoft has more money, but Sony has more franchises that people love.
Yeah, which is weird because I don't play, like, you tried to make me play PlayStation the other day. I was like, probably not gonna do that though. I have one at home, and anytime it's like left on or my kid turns it on by accident, I look at it for like 5 minutes. I'm like, I don't know how to turn this off. I don't
Yeah.
like this. Like, I feel like my mother touching my stuff. I'm like, this isn't okay. Like, I know I could figure it out. I just don't wanna.
It's much more intuitive than the Xbox One's console interface. That's a mess.
Just hold the button down and everything goes away.
Yeah,
like,
But
it's
the
not
actual
fun.
navigation of the menus is it's just
Chris.
They're all both kind of dumb because most of them are just giant things way to sell you new things. So whatever.
yeah, that's the other thing.
But you
like
can
at
like
least Switch keeps
completely
it simple and
customize
keeps all
your
that crap
Xbox
off.
interface.
Yeah.
I can choose what's there, what's not there. I can move it around. I screwed it up, so now Xbox Game Pass is like at the bottom, and I gotta go find it, and I'm way too
Yeah.
lazy to move it. That's a me problem, I guess.
But speaking of things,
Problems.
I'm leading into a segue. You can do it.
Wow. We don't know what segue, but okay.
The next thing on the docket, Dana.
Yeah, I know. Okay.
me
whatever.
dying.
There's a list. Go with the list.
There is a list. Speaking of
There is.
problems,
There you go.
Guess who's in the news for being awful?
Batman.
I mean, Batman's usually awful, but not this time.
My daughter was calling
Batman's
Batman
usually like
Spider-Man.
lawful, good, awful.
No, he's
If that
chaotic
makes
good.
sense.
Chaotic good. Oh, we
Yeah.
have like a system for this.
D&D
He'll do
alignment,
bad
yeah.
things to do. He'll abide by the law to do bad things to abide by the law. That's chaotic good.
Checks out.
Boom. No,
There's
little
way
bit
too much
D
thought
and
put into
D.
this.
But the answer was Blizzard.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler
Wizards of the
alert.
Coast this time.
Yeah.
Well, that's a different
So-
kind of. That's a yeah. This is the usual HR kind of awful, not the money grabbing kind of awful that Wizards of the Coast has been up to lately, / Hasbro. But yeah, news coming out this week about an employee ranking system in place at Blizzard, Activision Blizzard, as Blizzard manager Brian Birmingham resigned from the company over it, and some details leaked out as he was on his way out. Not necessarily what he wanted to happen. Jason Schreier from Bloomberg heard about some of the stuff and reported on it, and Brian wasn't exactly thrilled about that, so he set the record
Well, I mean,
straight.
like it seems like it was. He's like Bloomberg was. What is it? Bloomberg had some like email, and they're like, "Yep, that wasn't my email." But yeah, that's kind of what I would say.
Yeah, like he said it wasn't an official thing. Like he didn't make an official statement on it.
Yeah.
He didn't approve of the article or anything like that. But essentially what he said is that like he was the manager and he was in charge of giving out like evaluations for his employees, and there were different, when you're in school, like excellent, satisfactory, yeah, needs improvement. And they were insisting that he knocked somebody down from whatever successful or satisfactory, whatever that equivalent is, to like a needs improvement type thing, because they said that that would like make people work harder and give them something to aspire to and yada yada yada.
So,
But in doing that, not only does that just like demoralize your employees, he said that this person specifically didn't deserve that, hence the not giving them that. It affects like their shares in the company, the money they make, any like possible promotions in the future. So like meeting quotas fucks with people's livelihoods.
right.
Cool. That's fine. That seems real messed up to me. Blizzard, man.
It is
I had your back
definitely
once
what,
upon a
like,
time.
someone went to a corporate seminar and said, "You should make sure everyone strives to do this," and someone took it way too literally.
I just
Because
don't understand people that run businesses.
yeah,
They're not humans.
it doesn't help anyone to unjustifiably dock people down. Be honest with people. Don't say everyone's great when they're being horrible, but to say
I
someone
think there's research and there's science behind those things. Like that's all there is to it.
Yeah.
There are people paid lots of money to research these things. That doesn't make them moral.
no,
It doesn't. The research is, hey, this many people getting this score will help this happen, but it's not give people that don't deserve it this score and have this happen.
they're just looking at the literal numbers, not the actual.
Humanity behind it.
But also the fact that if a studio, you've gotten rid of the bad people in your studio and only people good are left, making someone that is doing a good job think they're not isn't helpful to anyone.
It's just a different form of toxicity. Yeah.
If I think I'm killing it at work and I get this like needs improvement shit, what's that going to do? That's not going to make me work harder. If I'm doing a shitty job and I get I'm like, fuck, okay. But if I'm a good employee and I do my best every day and you tell me that's not good enough, well, you're going to get the score you gave me.
But more importantly, you're going to notice that you do more work than someone else that got a good score. It breeds distrust. It makes people hate each other. It makes people competitive or makes people give up. None of these things are good to make a team environment. And
I'm one of the givey uppies. Is that bad?
I get it.
I'm kind of spiteful. Like I would do less on purpose.
But if you gaming is a team, like building games is a team effort.
Yeah.
If you have one member of the team that thinks they're failing at all times because you tell them they are, even if they're doing a good job, they're going to give up. They're going to leave, and you're eventually just going to be stuck with people that do suck up or do the things that the exact thing you want them to do, and that's not necessarily good for creativity or building good products. So
yeah, it's kind of indicative of the changes that are going on there as well, right? Like we've been tracking the stories of like the ickier things that have been going on at Activision Blizzard over the last 2 years now, really. Not
Since
I'm
they
going to throw it out
started,
there.
at least.
Microsoft has been trying to poise itself as the savior of Activision Blizzard, and that was kind of how they're selling this merger. With this corporate culture that Microsoft has is very similar to the corporate culture of this problem. Like they just fired 10,000 people because their profits were kind of down, but not really. And the people they fired from weren't divisions necessarily that were really suffering. It's just they wanted to make sure they shed some fat for investors, and that doesn't look good for anyone. And that's similar. That is a very similar problem to what Activision Blizzard does. Just it's more about the investors and the money than it is about the people building these products or
Yep.
games or experiences.
I have to say, as long as I've been working, I've always worked as part of a team. Like
Mhm.
obviously we're a team here at CGM, be it remote, we are still a team of like 30 people.
Mhm.
I waited tables and bartended forever, and anybody that's done that knows that like you are literally a friggin' family. You eat, sleep, breathe together. You spend every holiday together.
Right.
That's it. And I've been the new person and I've been the manager in all of these situations. And all I can remember from management is what I didn't want.
Yeah.
Um, like that's what I know. And I don't know, maybe saying this, I have 30 employees listening, being like, bitch, you wrong, you suck. But I like to think that it doesn't do anyone good to knock people down.
No.
It doesn't. And I know what happens to me. Like I have very serious like rejection dysphoria. Like I shut down, I get angry. If I can't do something, I get mad. And that's
Right.
not I'm just a child. That's just how my brain is wired. Um so if something's going on, like if all of a sudden Chris isn't pulling his weight for whatever reason, I'll sit down and be like, "Yo, what's up?
Mhm.
You good? You not good? You need help? You not want to do this? Like let me know
chat,
what's
yeah.
going on."
Yeah.
And it's better to handle things that way than to say, well, if we knock down these 5 out of 30 employees, then the other 25 employees are going to work harder.
Mm.
Qu'est-ce que fuck? Like,
Yep.
no, absolutely not. That doesn't help anyone. I don't want anyone working out of fear. I did
No.
that for a long time. We had like some crazy managers and we did our jobs so we didn't get screamed at. I had a sign on our wall that said, if you're caught talking and not working, you'll be terminated immediately. We're a team of 20 people. We literally have to talk and we want to
Yeah,
like each
bye.
other.
Yeah.
Yeah, like,
I
okay, see ya. No, I worked there for 10 years. It was a terrible, terrible plan. But, you know, and I started those jobs when I was, God, my family owned a restaurant when we were 8. I started working in other restaurants when I was probably 15.
Mhm.
So at 15 years old, that's what I met with. That's the kind of job that I'm looking at, and that's the kind of management that I'm being raised by at that point. Absolutely not.
Right.
Setting your
Absolutely.
expectations, yeah.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
it
no,
doesn't go ahead. I was just saying it
oh,
sucks.
no, I was just gonna say, like, I came up in similar environment with that when I was first started working as a teenager and then, like, through university and then beyond, like,
Right.
the management would try to be the strong hand like the Activision Blizzard people are here, and as soon as I became a manager of any kind, I changed. I wasn't buying into that structure, like, it's just not
Mhm.
how it
Well, and
works, and
even
you get a
Chris,
lot more trust that way.
you taught as well,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like that would be the difference between the teachers that just screamed at me for 3 hours or the teacher that sat down with me and said, "Okay, why aren't we doing well? What's going on?" Like I had 2 math teachers different years. The first year, Mr. Montgomery uh sounds ancient and was, and I was failing. Like I never failed, but like I was doing really, really poor in math.
Mhm.
He never talked to us on a personal level in any way, shape, or form. It was like it was like listening to a Charlie Brown teacher. It was just this monotonous nothing.
Mhm.
And then I went into my next year with like not great grades and came out with 80s and 90s because I
Right.
had Mr. Mandel, who was great, who also was my curling coach briefly. But he like would sit down with me and be a human, like talk to me like I'm a real person, not a textbook. And it completely changed how hard I worked. It changed me wanting to learn. It changed how I learned.
Right.
So screw people.
Agreed.
I'm just glad I wasn't the
Well,
only one
Mr.
who struggled with
Mandel.
math in high school because I had a real rough patch with that.
Mm.
I did,
But
but it wasn't me. Like, I ended up being really good at math. Don't ask me now. Like, give me like long division. I don't even know how to do that anymore. But I ended up with like in grade 10, 11, 12 with great grades because I had somebody that took the time to not just say, "Oh, you suck. Get out."
Yeah.
yeah, like once you get into all that calculus stuff, I struggled like in that like grade 10 area, like applied academic, whatever.
Yep.
And the teacher was like, "Oh, he never comes to me for help." Eventually, my dad got me to go in for help, and then she just explained it the exact same way. And I'm going like, "I'm telling you that I'm overthinking everything you're saying, and you're just saying it
Saying it
again."
again. Yep.
So
Right.
she said it again, and I never went back for help again. Like,
I ended up
yeah, you
when I was younger
it's
going to
strong
my
arming.
brother. It was the same situation. I'm like, "I don't process it." And he's like, "Oh, well, just do this, this, and this." I'm like, "Well, that's easier." Fuck. Like, well, why can't I just do this? But even like with us, we teach new writers because we bring people in from schools. We have co-op students from high schools. It's yes, I'm going to sit down and tell you everything you did wrong in this article because you're learning.
Mhm.
I'm not going to say, "Oh my god, you're stupid, you suck." I'm going to say, "Hey, here's what you did. Here's what it looks like. Here's what it should look like. And how do we get there?" And we have a few writers that came to us out of schools, and I like to think that they don't hate my guts. We'll we'll find out later maybe, but they're completely different writers than they were a year ago.
100%.
Now, maybe I shouldn't be teaching them to write, but that's a whole different conversation.
Yeah, no, it's
Um,
you don't just give those students a rank to manipulate some kind of arbitrary bell curve you've put in
Right.
place.
yeah.
And then like to come back a little closer to the game development side of it, all of that is operating under the same environment of all this crunch talk that we've had
Mhm.
over the last 2
Mhm.
years. People are being overworked as it is, and then you're throwing this on top of it while having these unreasonable deadlines and stuff like that. You're just compounding the issue. Like it's amazing anyone's still working at Blizzard,
I know.
and
But there's
kind
a
of
lot of
throw
good
some
developers there. It's
concerns on
just
Diablo 4.
yeah.
But wouldn't that like again goes back to restaurants. If everybody at the restaurant is made of fire, do I want to stay there?
No.
I mean, to be fair, I did. I did for 10 years at those jobs. Like one of my managers got charged with some real bad shit. Like it wasn't a good place to stay, and I stayed. I stayed. So I guess that's why they are. It's just it's
Yeah,
their comfort, it's their home. It looks good to say you work for Blizzard, although maybe it doesn't now.
but yeah, that's the whole reputation is just destroyed at this point. But yeah, hopefully we have some good news out of Blizzard at some point because every time we talk about them, it's like they did something else again.
Do they have? Oh, am I wrong? Does Blizzard do League of Legends?
No, that's
No,
Epic.
that's Riot.
Okay.
No, that's Riot.
Riot. Okay. For some reason, what's Overwatch is what Blizzard does, right?
Yeah.
Off topic, but did you guys hear what happened with League of
Yeah,
Legends?
all
Who
source
shared
code.
that? Was it one of you?
I shared it actually. Yeah, no,
Okay, yeah.
the source code for League of Legends is being held ransom right now, or it's up for sale for like 10 grand or something.
Well,
The
they
latest one
did
to get
a
hacked.
That doesn't think that meant much. 10
no,
grand?
it wasn't 10
It was
grand, it was
100,000.
10,000,000. I
That
counted
makes
the
more sense.
zeros.
10 million. Okay, yeah, I didn't count the
It was
zeros then.
10 million and Riot didn't pay. So it went it's great. Uh Riot didn't pay and so the source code's up for sale. That's crazy to me. Like I don't even really know what that means. Like I don't know what that does for the game. I don't know
It means
what
that someone can
anyone can do with
buy
that.
whoever buys the source code has the means to just recreate League of Legends essentially. Now I'm sure that's when the
Does
copyright
anybody
laws
want
and
to
stuff
do
will
that?
start to protect it. But yeah,
Like
people will
what like I
copy
don't
anything.
I guess I don't logically understand what they get out of that and why that would be worth $10 million. Like nobody's going to make a League of Legends that can beat League of Legends, right? Maybe? I
Well,
don't think.
that being said, I don't know what they're selling it for. I know they had the 10 million ransom for Riot to pay, but they sell it for
Yeah.
it's a different thing. People can even go take it higher than that if they wanted. But even like last summer when Vampire Survivors came out on PC, there was still like a whole rash of imitators popping up on mobile devices. So eventually the developers just said, "Well, screw it, we'll just make our own. we'll just slap our game onto mobile and cut people off, like cut their legs off here. Like,
Yeah.
so people
And now
will
look at that
imitate
game.
anything. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
huge now.
Yeah, I don't know.
But
It didn't make any sense to me.
it's the
I don't
second,
understand it.
at least the second game, because Project Red was in a similar situation last year where they had their engine stolen essentially.
Yeah, that's crazy. Like, I realized today, I saw somebody on Twitter post, like, I follow a bunch of people in the industry, people I don't know at all. And I'm like, I want to see what you're doing. You're doing cool stuff. And it was somebody posting about being a level designer for Dead Space. And clearly, like, Dead Space came, or the reviews came out today, and people are going crazy over it. Like, it's a great, great game, so I'm told. Um, and I was thinking about it. I'm like, I have no idea what goes into building just a level of a game, just like a section. Just like how many different people, like from start to finish, how they sit down and decide what's going to happen, how they sit down and decide what it's going to look like, how they just sit down and decide how they're going to make that. Like I clearly overthinking today. I was like, I need to know all of these things. And like I have a bunch of friends that out of high school, somehow we all ended up in gaming, but none of us planned that, nor do any of us talk anymore. But I have like a friend that worked at Ubisoft. And I'm like, how did you do that? You didn't like why? What did you do to do that? And what did you do there? I don't understand. What is everybody doing? I just think of grandma's boy and like people in cubicles playing video games. That's all I
Maybe
got.
that's exactly it.
I hope so. I watched I'm just killing time till Brendan comes back now because
Yeah, it's fine.
that's good.
We're
I
all friends here.
watched it was a not Nintendo, video game like documentary on Netflix. And they were talking about before like game guides and stuff like that, there used to be phone numbers you could call in and get help through video games.
Yeah, the Nintendo had a whole hotline. Yeah,
Yeah, that's amazing to me. My brother would have
I
yelled at me so much less.
I'm just sad that I never actually got to use that.
Like that's
It's like I
hey,
always saw it
no.
advertised and never really thought about it.
I don't
Plus,
know. I
I
sat on tech support for a minute today and had to relay instructions to somebody in another house. So like, I don't know, maybe I don't need tech support for my video game. Tech support's never a good time.
that must have been a wild job to work. If you're thinking about it, like, what level are you on? Okay, no, what do you see? Like,
Yeah, what are you
um,
doing? I don't turn to your left. Nope, your other left. Because like it's not even now you can do it and mirror your screen and they can see what you're doing and they can be like, no, do X, Y, and Z, but they have to yeah, that blows my mind. Let's not tell Brendan what we're talking about.
I'm
It's a
so lost.
secret.
it's a mystery. It's a mystery to everyone.
Anyway, that was my
Um,
ramble for the evening. That was crazy.
so,
And that's all I got.
Cool.
Congrats.
well, we've been running a bunch of our best of 2022 articles, and we have a big one dropping tomorrow as we're recording this, so
7
Friday,
a.m.
the
Eastern.
27th. We are naming our game of the year after a rigorous process.
It was a
Do we
rigorous
want to?
process this time around.
Who
Yeah,
wants?
how
Who
do you
wants the
want me to
honors
go
of
through
naming
this?
it?
You want me to just take her away?
Do you want a drum roll?
Well, am I announcing first or am I talking about the nominees? Should I start from the beginning? I'm drum rolling and I don't know where to go from here.
Well, let's start with the
From another
process
maybe
actually, because
beginning.
Process.
it was quite an extensive process.
It was this year. So I got to sit down and go through all of our game reviews for the year. And I put all of the top scores in a nice little chart, a little spreadsheet, because I'm a spreadsheet person now. And we got our entire staff, so 30-ish of us, to go in and vote for their top three. So these games were like Roller Dome was in there, Tunic was in there, God of War, Elden Ring, like all kinds of games from every walk of life. And we all voted for three, so it wasn't just everybody voting for like their one game. Elden Ring. So from there, we took the top four and we split those into two places. We did a vote on Twitter, which didn't go well, which is weird because Twitter is like our top platform
Yeah.
and like nobody gave a crap about our awards. Rude. They care about our Xbox codes today, though, just in case you were wondering. So nobody cared about that. And then we also put a vote on our front page. So these top four games were Calls of the Lamb, Horizon Forbidden West, God of War Ragnarok, and Elden Ring. I know you're really shocked. I know nobody could see that coming. Um, what was interesting though is Cult of the Lamb actually almost came in second. almost won.
Almost
For
won.
a
Yeah,
little
no,
while
Did
there.
it not come in second?
What?
Did it not come in second?
No, it didn't. In the end, it got beat out. But yeah, it was killing it on our
Mm.
front page. We got like several thousand votes on our site. We got 78 votes on Twitter. So they didn't carry a lot of weight. Obviously, our site, like just our staff, Elden Ring came out victorious.
Mhm.
Twitter, Elden Ring came out victorious. Our site, though, like I said, for a while there, like neck and neck were Cult of the Lamb and Elden Ring,
Right.
and that's where the majority of the votes were. Um, but I can go through some of the numbers. We have a lovely little article kind of giving a rundown of the games, why they matter, why they were nominated, all that jazz. Cult of the Lamb, we scored in a 9 out of 10 during its review. I am in love with it and keep trying to sell it to everyone that I talk to. So it brought in 7% of the votes from Twitter and CGM staff. But for a while, it was giving Elden Ring a run for its money. It was like 34 and 38%.
Mm.
It ended up with 29% of all votes. So from there, we had Horizon Forbidden West. They earned 12% of CGM writer votes, 9% of Twitter votes, and 17% of the site votes. Um, so that's where that ended up. And then we had God of War, which scored a 9.5 on CGM. They brought in 15% of CGM writer votes, 32% of the votes from Twitter, and 15% of the votes from our site. So it actually scored below God of War on the site. Or no, above. What am I talking about? Hold on,
Right.
I'm doing numbers. My laptop died, so I'm doing this on my phone now, and I'm confused. So 29% of all votes, and then 17 and 15. So yeah, Cult of the Lamb did come in second. You are correct. It just dropped from like being 34 and 38
Yeah.
to yeah. And then we've got Elden Ring. They definitely won our game of the year.
What was the end score for that one?
The end score, so it got a 9.5 from Preston. It held 29% of our staff votes, 51% of the votes on Twitter, and 40% of the public votes.
That's pretty impressive, actually.
Yeah, so it crushed it. I think anybody that didn't vote for Elden Ring, myself specifically, isn't because I don't think it's a great game. I just didn't have the experience that everybody else did. But I can definitely appreciate that it's beautiful and
Yeah.
it's intricate and it kicked my ass. So there's no discrepancies here with me. Um, I talked a lot. You'll read in the article tomorrow about the Game of the Year awards it's won so far, the Game awards between Elden Ring and God of War. Elden Ring actually won more awards than Elden Ring, or
Mhm.
wait, God of War won more awards than Elden Ring did this year, but Elden Ring won the big ones.
Yeah.
So I think it also beat out, if I'm not mistaken. Again, it's in the article, but I can't get there right now. I think it beat out The Last of Us Part 2 for number of Game of the Year
That's
awards.
impressive.
I think Last of Us Part 2 had like 321 Game of the Year awards, and this
322.
one
Yeah.
so far is like just beating it. Now, mind you, I don't really know what those statistics are. Like, I don't know who's included in that. It's just like Bob from down the street. Does he count? I don't know.
Right.
I don't know the maths there. But yes, Elden Ring has indeed won, and for good reason. Even if I may have chosen something else, it was like the most anticipated game for 12 years. I don't know how long. 47, 84 years.
Right.
And it did well. It didn't come out and disappoint everybody, so I'll take it. I'll take it.
Yeah, I'm with you there. It wasn't my vote either, but there's no denying that it wasn't the biggest game of the year.
I think it was a game that made it the Souls. Like I wrote in the article that it is the
Teamwork.
first game in the Souls franchise that feels meant for everyone. It might be hard.
Get fucked.
Meant for
but
a
it-
bigger audience, at least. Yeah.
Yes, it is accessible. There is
Yep.
an accessibility there. You can avoid the bosses and still find level up. You can just kind of experience the world. You don't need to fight the giant dragons, etc. But if you do, that
Don't
sense of
go near the
reward-
guy on the horse.
Yeah, don't do that.
Don't
that
do
guy
that.
is strong.
Do not.
Don't go near anyone.
Um,
Anyone.
Yeah, just frolic.
But
Some herbs.
if you do put the effort in, you can kind of that sense of reward when you finally do overcome a dragon or overcome that guy on the horse, um, is there even without the kind of the punishing, um, like brutalness that is known for the Soul series. It is
What's
hard.
funny for me is that like I get that. I get the difference between like a full-blown Souls game and this one, and I totally agree they did make it. I could get through Elden Ring if I had patience. I don't. So listening to you say, people can do that and this like sense of satisfaction, I would throw that controller so goddamn far. Absolutely not. That like how far did I literally walked into that guy, which is like the first thing that happens, and I went, well, fuck this. And I moved on. Now I know to avoid him, and somebody may or may not have written some stellar guides on our site that could help me survive.
Mm.
But it is, yes, the most accessible of the Souls games in
It's
terms of who can play it. But if
Yep.
you're talking about accessibility, that goes to God of War.
Yeah, I think the
It's
100%.
a specific kind of accessibility we're talking about. So just so we're
and
clear
it's
there when
I
we say
think
accessibility.
Sony Santa Monica did an outstanding job in that, just making sure that anyone that wanted to play the game could find a way to play it, no
Yeah.
matter what they might be suffering from or dealing with.
Yep.
Sony is
That's
above
fine.
and beyond with that, like, and just in a way that FromSoft is not. Like, Sony as
I
a
mean,
company is committed to
yeah,
that, and FromSoft is always like, this is our Souls series.
And
Get
they're
good,
different
essentially. So
studios work together to make it better, and that makes me happy. So
yeah,
go Elden Ring.
definitely
No,
accessible for
I'm
a
kidding.
Souls game. I
yeah.
I tried Dark Souls 3 like right before and bounced off
Ooh,
with a fury, but I've managed to get pretty
I
far,
don't hate myself
like
like that.
a chunk of the way into Elden Ring. Yeah, but yeah, like that's the thing. I don't have the time. I don't. If I'd gotten into Souls games before I had kids and stuff like that, when it was still
you
early
need hours
days,
upon hours of time just to kind of figure out the patterns. They're all think of it like DDR for fighting.
No, I mean that would be the same as it. I want to say no. I'm gonna like if anybody listens to this, I'm gonna get shanked by like real gamers. But I would say it's the equivalent of like raid bosses more than dungeon bosses when
Okay,
you
yeah,
play like an MMO. We would spend weeks on one boss, and that's just learning the mechanics.
yeah,
It's learning what they're gonna do, when they're gonna do it, and what you need to do when they do it. And I did that. I did that competitively. Like
yeah.
we did that, but I'm not that person anymore. I don't. I don't want to fight with my game. I want to. I want to have
And I
fun.
think that is the thing. Elden Ring or any of the Dark Souls series or any of the Demon Souls, etc. They are very much patterns, figuring out the patterns, figuring out how to deal with the thing you have, like what skill set you have as a character, and how to match it with those patterns that the boss will do.
Now, what I'm curious about, I guess Elden Ring is also an MMO
It's
ish. It
has
is, but it
aspects.
isn't. Anyway,
yeah, okay.
um, I know in terms of ESO or any like big MMO,
Hmm.
if you want to do well, you need to be this class
Yep.
or this race or this spec. Um, and there are raid teams, even some solo content that like if you're not the right spec or class or race,
Hmm.
you're screwed.
Yeah.
If you want to join a raid team, they will be like, hey, we're looking for a BM hunter or a affliction warlock, nothing else. Um, and you have to be wearing this gear that's spec this way
Right.
with like these. It's a hot mess.
Mm.
Now with
Mhm.
Elden Ring, I'm not saying this in terms of MMO, but are there points you're going to come to where if you decided to go this route, it's going to be way harder for you than if you.
I think there are ways to make the game easier. Like if you went like
I'm not talking about the weird little go fight
no,
the
no,
dragon in the
no, no,
corner
not
thing. I'm
not that.
talking about like normal gameplay.
Certain way, like magic is more powerful in Elden Ring than any other. Like hand to hand combat, you will more chance to die.
Hand
If
to
you go
hand is
magic,
stupid in every game, even Elder Scrolls, like Skyrim, Oblivion. I'm not punching people to death. We're not doing that. Mm,
magic is much more powerful, and there's different types of magic that are better. If you're going to hand combat, like doing swords, etc., you
mhm.
will probably have to memorize patterns more. You're going to use the dodge more. So it really does seem. Do you want to go down the like melee route, which will be more challenging, but it does mean if you're good at dodging and you're good at like hitting those right moments, you can do a lot more
See,
damage.
and for me, in any other game that I've played, again, like it sounds like I've only ever played Elder Scrolls. I promise I played other games, but even say Mass Effect, like
Yeah.
I never wanted to go like the biotics route. I needed a stabby stabby or a shooty shooty.
Right.
I didn't. Anytime I've ever been like a magic wielder, I've just got you're in like cloth armor and you just melt. I've
Uh,
never been good at that. I want a little bit of both.
Vanguard.
I want to shoot some fire and
Vanguard.
then stab, stab, stab. Uh, in real
Vanguard.
life too. Yeah, there you go. I was never Mass Effect. I was never the balance.
Yeah.
No, Mass Effect. I went full like murder. Um, but
So
yeah, any Elder Scrolls types games, I always went.
I
Uh,
think if you go magic in Elden Ring, you will have an advantage because a lot of the
Interesting.
creatures aren't as great at long range.
I wonder if that'll hurt me because like I'm not used to it. I'm determined to play this game one day. Like I own it. I own the big fancy version and all
Yeah.
that stuff on every system apparently because that's who I am as a person now. But yeah, I don't know. Like I don't know if like my past experience is gonna hold me back.
I mean, once you figure out like how to use the systems to your advantage, it does become easier.
I can't believe you're teaching me how to play a video game.
There you go.
This is weird. This is a change in our relationship. I don't know if I'm ready. Uh, yeah, I don't know. I want to play the game. I would like the stabby stabby. I
Yeah.
mean, I learned through Skyrim that's actually really fun to up your I don't know what Elden Ring has, but up your sneak a lot and just like take bow and arrow to everybody in the room before
If you
you
go
even walk in.
dexterity in Elden Ring or any Souls game, you can basically roll out of anything because you can
I
dodge
don't want
very
to do
quickly.
that. I hate dodging. I want to just like take it to the face and then shake.
Then vitality or defense type things.
None of these sound like me. I'm gonna have to figure out how to make it work. Can't turn Elden Ring into Skyrim, can I?
Not
Disappointing.
quite.
No, I mean it's as
Probably not.
close as you're gonna get.
Side note, there's still hunks of coconut in this thing. It's been hours.
Of course there is. Well, they
So
wouldn't
angry.
just disappear.
Well, I figured they were like just on the top because it had like whipped cream or some shit on it.
But
Nah,
as the
they're
top goes
everywhere.
down, yeah.
They're everywhere.
Um,
Cool.
to come back to like the voting, I'm a little surprised at how the public vote went. Like Cult of the
Yeah.
Lamb, who could have seen that rallying, right? Like
I mean, it has a strong social following, so that could be part
It
of it.
does.
it
And
is
I
a
did
factor.
like I shared these, but we didn't go through their socials. You know what I mean? Like this was to go to our site. So when I share our stuff, I share it to all our social
Mm.
media, and I have to share it to Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn to send people to Twitter to vote or to our front page. However, that vote was not on our front page on mobile, only on desktop.
Really?
Yes.
Hmm.
So sending people there, they had to go out of their way. Like not a lot of people, if you look at our traffic, are coming from desktop or
Yeah.
comparatively anyway. So people went out of their way for this vote. It wasn't just like, hey, I tagged Cult of the Lamb on Twitter and people went and found us because they
Mm.
didn't vote on Twitter. They voted on our homepage. So that was pretty cool for me. And I'm wondering if it's because it was a more like God of War had the caveat of being just for PlayStation.
Yeah.
Elden Ring had the caveat of being fucking hard. And I don't know, Horizon came out at the same time as Elden Ring, so everybody forgot about it.
Accurate.
So they all kind of had like, and Cult of the Lamb came out of nowhere,
Yeah.
and their social media blew up. I talk about him in the article. Jared Tan, I believe his name is. Um, he's been posting like, here's how to make social media work for you stuff because he just blew this game up.
Yeah.
It became like I'm not going to say it's like the new Stardew Valley, but it went from what is this game to oh shit, everyone's talking about
Yeah.
this game. And it's just fucking hilarious. Can I go play that after? I want to go play this after. And win.
I'm also
Screw
surprised,
Elden
and
Ring.
maybe this has something to do with that commitment you're just talking about, though. But I'm surprised that Horizon beat God of War on our desktop pool.
Yeah, especially
Because like
because
that got forgotten. It came out right before Elden Ring and got totally left behind.
now
Like
I'm
in
all
a
about
lot
the
of stuff I did see
psychology
about it was
behind
that it's kind
everything.
of middle.
I mean,
But
I think
Go on.
maybe it's the fact that there's the Horizon that's going to come to PSVR, and maybe people kind of it's back in people's minds. Maybe.
The
for me, I
DLC
think
too
it's
for
more like I said, I overthink everything, right? So I'm like, well, why could this happen? What does this game have going for it? What does it have against it? And we talked about like, okay, Horizon, God of War, they're both exclusives, so they're even there. Horizon came out the beginning of the year with Elden Ring, and just got buried. The last one came out with Zelda, got buried. But it's been out for almost a year now.
Mhm.
Whereas God of War just came out 2 months now,
2
say.
months,
Mhm.
almost 3,
So
but
there's
yeah.
probably a lot of people that haven't played it yet.
Mhm.
Whereas Horizon, you've had a lot longer to dive in, or a lot longer to see, a lot longer to check it out.
Yeah.
So that could be part of it. Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah,
Maybe it's where it
Overthinking.
was placed
and
on the poll. Maybe I should have made it randomized so it
Yeah.
wasn't always in the same spot.
Okay, maybe. Um,
but
let's
yeah,
not
like I was
air
just
our we screwed up the contest say. That's like, let's not do that. But I don't know. I would do Horizon over God of War, but
Okay.
that's just my preference. Like
Mhm.
I enjoy that game. That is a one game I play on PlayStation. So
yeah, no, and I was just kind of again happy to see a closer competition in the voting
Yeah.
because I had no illusions that Elden Ring was going to lose game of the year. I think it was the writing was pretty clear right after the game came out that it was
Mhm.
going to be God game of the year for just about everybody, and it has been.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to be like a competition at least. I wanted to have the other
and it
candidates
was for
having
us.
someone
Yeah.
fight for it. And but the vote was our staff was very unanimous that Elden Ring was the game of the
Yeah,
year for
we're
them.
spoiler alert, we're trying to work on a writer's choice game of the year, and Chris and I are the only two out of our entire staff that didn't vote for Elden Ring. So I'm trying to figure out how to make that a not boring as shit article.
Yeah.
Chris and I are the only two, and we're on this podcast to talk about Elden Ring winning game of the year. Great. Yeah.
It needs more dissenting voices. There's,
Mm,
it needs
yeah.
it needs its high horse rocked a little bit. But
does.
Not the horse. Don't talk about the horse again. God damn it. Anyway, Elden Ring won. Woo!
anyway, it won.
And
Yeah,
apparently, Hi-Fi
surprising.
Rush is going to be game of the year this year for everybody. So
There you go.
You heard it
I think I
here.
might play it. It's on. Maybe I'll do that after. It's on Game.
I'm gonna download it after we're done this. Yeah, and check it out.
Yeah.
See what everyone's raving about. But
Tune in next week
yeah.
to see if Hi-Fi Rush is our game of the year 2023.
On that note, though, I think it's going to do it for us this week. If you'd like to read more on these topics and more, including that Game of the Year article and the Future Writer's Choice article, you can find full coverage at CGMagOnline.com. Be sure to follow CG Magazine on all the socials. Just search CG Mag, you'll find us. And if you have any questions or comments, you can send them to podcast@cgmagonline.com. Dana, where can people find you?
And find me at the Dana Eileen and trying to work out a writer's choice article this week on CG Mag Online. B-Fry.
B-Fry26 on everything, as of if you're watching this live down here. If not, B-Fry26 on literally.
Sorry. I just died. Just pointing. Maybe.
We never have a clean outro. We just vogue.
Yeah.
And you can find me on all the socials at Hugathy. And yeah, that's going to do it for us this week. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you next week.
Fuck.
Bye.
Bye.